All right, Thursday core routine for the Full Circle Fitness Core Challenge. Got a few things going on today. Starting off, we're hitting some planks. Overall, once again, we're looking for 3 rounds, 20 to 30 reps of each movement. Your planks are gonna be have some movement to them today though. So I call them palm to elbow planks. They're probably called something else, but that's what I call them because it's what you're doing. Anywho, so starting from the palms, we're gonna control your body down to your plank, and then you're gonna go back up to your palms. Down and up is 1 rep. Just make sure you're not, once you're in a plank, right? Make sure you don't go down with the right arm first, every single rep. We wanna even it out, lower yourself with the right. Next rep, lower yourself to the left first. And then same thing when you come up, don't extend the right arm first every time, alternate. Next rep, extend the left arm after that. If it's too challenging, this is a hard one, guys, it really is. So modification is you can just drop to your knees when you do this. You're gonna be right here. Boom, 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 boom. Just make sure when you're doing this, there's an incredibly large difference in being here. If we look at my hips compared to, because I guarantee you, if you're not looking at yourself, that's what you're gonna do, then you're just gonna be wasting your time, if I'm being honest. So make sure those hips are actually drawn forward. Now, let's talk about how we can actually activate your core better when we're doing these. I want y'all to pay attention to the level of my hips, the difference in how I'm gonna perform these reps. This is what we want to see. Hopefully we can see kind of my hips here and how they're gonna stay nice and even throughout the reps, pretty much. There's an incredibly large difference in being here compared to twisting all about. What I focus on is really driving the foot into the floor. So if I'm lowering myself, when I am holding myself with just left arm and I'm going down to my right arm, I'm driving my opposite foot into the floor as hard as I can. So left arm down, right foot is driving into the ground. Hard, hard, hard. That's how I keep my hips level. Then obviously it's just gonna be the opposite. Whenever I have my right arm, I'm driving my left foot into the ground as hard as I can, and that'll actually keep your hips still, which is gonna force you to use more core. If the hips are swaying back and forth, you're gonna be getting tired because you're doing something that is difficult, raising and lowering your body in a plank, but you're really gonna be missing the core activation. And that's kind of the purpose of this. Second movement, hollow rocks. It's more of a gymnastics-based movement. So kind of a hold-ish, but we have some movement to it as well. First thing we gotta focus on though, well, I'll show you what it looks like first. Legs are straight. Get you a little better view. Can we see the legs? Somewhat, yes. Legs are straight, arms are straight. At no point do your arms come up here. We stay back here the whole time. Legs go down, torso comes up. Torso goes down, legs come up. Here's our hollow rock. It's counted 1, 2, 3, 4. These are a lot harder than they look, but don't worry. We've got variations, which I'll break down in just a second. But first, I want to talk about what we're doing with your lumbar spine here. We really got to make sure with, imagine this is my body, we're making a true scooped out position. Naturally, your lumbar spine is going to be curved like this, right? And that's going to take away that true curved out position. We want to try to pull the lumbar spine down to create that curve. Reason being, the amount of core activation you have when you do that is so much more. It's gonna be so much more beneficial. You're gonna build a lot more strength. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like. It's tough to pick up, But once you do, whew, you can feel it. So naturally, oh, it's gonna be cold. Naturally, we're all gonna, I'm gonna exaggerate it right now. We're gonna have this curve in our lower back. So I can fit my hand underneath really easily. I'm exaggerating a bit, but we all kind of have that curve, and I can fit my hand underneath. What we wanna do is tilt your pelvis in this orientation. When you tilt your pelvis here, that's gonna pull your lower back to the floor, and that is gonna turn on your core automatically. And we wanna try to maintain that tilt while we're going through the motion. Like I said, the amount of activation you're gonna have in your core is gonna be quite a bit more. Now, modifications, because that is hard. That is hard. Full version, it's a smaller, more compact movement. You stop your feet from actually touching the ground. First modification is the feet will actually tap the floor. Next modification, make the movement bigger. That'll make it a little easier. If we're just now starting out, sit up all the way, lay back. Sit up all the way, lay back. They're all hollow rocks, just different variations. In the end, for each one of those, legs are straight though. We don't want to be here. It's going to take away from the hip flexors, the core. And I mean, you can play with it, right? Maybe you do 3, 4, or 5 smaller ones, and it starts burning so much you can't do anymore. Then maybe knock out 3 or 4 big ones, right? And then the more you get used to this, the fewer big ones you'll have to do, and you just do the small ones. Last movement, oblique crunches. We are twisting. Shoulders stay relatively square to the floor. We're not just rolling over. Shoulders stay relatively square. We're gonna rotate the hips over. I like to lock my feet in place like so. I take my top leg, drop it on the floor, bottom foot comes under, locks it down. Arms behind the head, and then you just sit up as high as you can. I've been doing these a long time, y'all, so I have pretty good core control. I can get pretty high on those. A lot of y'all are probably gonna look like this. If that's the case, place your toes against some sort of box, a wall, something that isn't going to move. That can give you a little bit more leverage and teach you to have a higher, I'd say a better range of motion. Count-wise, if you're doing 20 total, 10 on one side, 10 on the other. If you're going up to 30, 15 on one side, 15 on the other. That's all I got for you. Enjoy, have fun, good luck.